Hey everyone, Brian from the Dividend Dudes here. Hey listen, can we talk Home Depot? Because they just dropped their earnings yesterday and I want to talk about it. As you can see here, I have the PDF for their first quarter fiscal 2024 results. If you have an hour of time to spend, go ahead and listen to their webcast. They have a lot more information than what's in their PDF. I highly suggest it. Otherwise, I have taken some of the best parts and added it to this video that I think are relevant. So let's go into Home Depot. What do? They are a home improvement store for residential and pro contractors. They're more of a 50-50 split than like Lowe's. So that is kind of what differentiates them from other home improvement stores and gives them a lot more money. Today, or actually yesterday, they reported sales of $36.4 billion in their first quarter, a decrease of 2.3% than the first quarter of 2023. The comparable sales, the first quarter of 2024 decreased 2.8%. Comparable sales in US decreased 3.2%. Now you're gonna see a pattern here. There's a lot of loss. I mean, it's not like a big marginal loss, but everything is down first quarter. We're gonna skip the guidance for now. We'll pick that up a little bit later. Let's go down to the numbers. This is the first quarter 2023, first quarter 2024. So we're looking at 1 year difference. 37 billion versus 36 billion. That's that 2.3% loss. You go down, you got gross profit, operating expense, all at a loss. Operating income at 8.5% loss. This does not look good for them. 7% earnings loss, 3.8% versus, or 3.8 billion versus 3.6 billion. They are not looking good compared to their first quarter earnings. Now, why is that? If you go into and listen to their webcast, the CEO comes out and says that it is because of a late winter, late spring. Contractors aren't doing lawn care, aren't doing renovations due to the fact that the weather has been terrible. In the places where the weather has been great, they've had great sales, but most of the country has been bad, so terrible sales, first quarter, not good. So does this mean that the rest of the year is going to be bad? No. They've also stated that in years where the first quarter sales are down, it doesn't hurt their year sales, because once the weather starts to pick up, then people start doing their projects. The landscapers start doing their thing, the pro contractors get to work, and boom, they make their money. It's just later in the year on the balance sheet. One other thing that is hurting them is mortgage interest rates. If you look at how the mortgage interest rates have been falling at a very slow rate, the Fed is trying to get inflation down to 2%. It's still at 3.6%. It's still hurting sales because people aren't buying and selling homes. And the CEO came out and said that the time that people spend the most money on their house is when they sell or buy their house. It makes sense that when you buy a house, you want to renovate it to make your own, do all the kitchen remodels or whatever you need to do, new carpeting to make it your own. And when you sell it, you have to do all the things to pass inspection. So, you know, fixing the roof, fixing holes, whatever it is, furnace, you got to do those things. That is where a lot of the money comes from a home improvement store. And hey, if you are finding value in what I'm bringing you, then please go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button, because that gives us engagement, which tells us that we're doing it right. I appreciate it. So let's go to the spreadsheet. We always make this spreadsheet for when we are trying to figure out what stocks to buy. And you're getting a sneak peek at the stocks that we're kind of looking at for the next buy. So kind of ignore that. We are looking at Home Depot. We've got a dividend yield of 2.64%, which is $2.25 a share. We got an EPS of 15.11, the PE ratio of 23.51, market cap of 336 billion. So they are not a small company. They're a pretty big company, and they're looking to grow. And one way they're trying to do that is an SRS Distribution acquisition, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, because it's going to affect these numbers eventually. So stick around. We got total assets went up. This is quarter over quarter, the last 5 quarters, 3.72% up. Their total liabilities is up also, but at a very half that, 1.8%. Quarterly net income is down 7%. 5-year, 34% up. Cash flow quarter, 54% up. 5-year, 111% up. So year over year, they're looking good. The micro, they're not looking so hot. If we look at their stock price, they're at $339 right now. If you look at the analysts, they'll say it's a little bit overpriced, but you look at their 52-week low, 274, 52-week high, 396. They are right in the middle of that. If we're going to look at this seriously for our portfolio, I would love to see this number get down to 300. Okay, so let's talk about SRS Distribution for a moment, because I mentioned that they're purchasing them, which they are, for a whopping $18.25 billion. Now, if you look at their cash, at Home Depot's cash flow and cash on hand, they have enough to pay for this over time. So this isn't going to hurt them too bad initially. However, when we talk about their assets and liabilities, this is going to hit their statements, and it is going to change those numbers pretty dramatically, along with 12 new stores that they're building. So what does SRS do? They provide materials for professionals like roofers, landscapers, pool contractors. These are segments that Home Depot do cater to, but not specifically. So these are 3 verticals that they're going to get into that's going to provide extra revenue for them. Now, this is a $1 trillion segment, which they're stating is going to increase their market by 50 billion. So this is a lot more money that they can tap into to get into revenue, which should increase Home Depot's value. We'll see, because this acquisition is not said to be done until the end of 2024. So it won't be until 2025 before they even see some sort of profit. So looking through the numbers, first quarter recap, not so great, but if you're looking at Home Depot as a stock for your portfolio, Home Depot is one of those foundational stocks that is just going to keep paying you year over year with dividends. And as you notice, they increase their dividends every year at about 11% average. So if that continues, you're just going to keep getting more and more money and value for your stock that you hold. This is not one that is going to make you rich overnight, but it will add to your portfolio and give you the juicy monthly dividend income that we all want as dividend investors. So are we going to add this to our portfolio? You'll have to stick around and watch. Are you going to add it to yours, knowing what it's doing now and what it could do in the future? Let us know in the comments. I appreciate you watching, and happy investing.